Welcome to the Commission Report. I'm Martha Ann Kness for MCTV. Here on the Commission Report, our goal is to keep you up to date on what happened at the most recent meeting of the Martin County Board of County Commissioners. On January 23rd, a joint meeting of the county, city, and school district was held at the Blake Library. Upon conclusion of the joint meeting, the Board of County Commissioners reconvened for their regular meeting in commission chambers. Discussion at the joint meeting included capital projects of interest to the city, school board, and school district, including neighborhood restoration projects comprised of drainage and infrastructure, such as roadway, sidewalk, and utilities improvements and enhancements. Overlapping projects with the city and school board, such as Kindred Street Johnson area, Dixie Highway Sidewalk, and the Port Salerno Safe Routes to School projects, all of which enhance connectivity within our community. Deb Drum, Ecosystem Restoration and Management Manager, spoke about the importance of water quality to Martin County and our neighboring communities. She presented a brief summary of water quality projects in Martin County, including these stats. Over the past 16 years, the county has invested $72 million on 32 essential water quality projects. Ms. Drum explained the county's success in leveraging 40% taxpayer dollars with 60% funds from state and federal grants in completing these types of projects. Deb then discussed an important project, the Willoughby Creek Stormwater Quality Project. Through more than 10 years of water quality monitoring by the South Florida Water Management District, Willoughby Creek has been identified as the 5th highest pollutant loading contributor to the St. Lucie River and estuary for total nitrogen, total phosphorus, and copper. Much of the land coverage within the 384-acre upstream area of the watershed is highly impervious and deficient in stormwater quality treatment. The Ecosystem Restoration and Management team has identified a 13.7-acre site for the Willoughby Creek Stormwater Quality Project. The site is comprised of Martin County Golf Course property, Martin County property, and includes 1.2 acres of the bus and warehouse complex, property now owned by the school district. The proposed project will involve constructing a series of lakes and shallow stormwater treatment areas, or STAs, as well as the installation of 2 control structure weirs. The project will be designed to meet today's water quality treatment standards for upstream basin runoff. In addition, it can be used by teachers and students to learn about environmental and ecosystem sciences and how we can all be stewards for a healthy St. Lucie estuary. Benefits of the project to the residents of Martin County are numerous, from an economic real estate and tourism value that a healthy, clean estuary provides our community, to environmental benefits of removing existing exotic vegetation and creating wetland habitat. This project is instrumental in cleaning our local stormwater discharges to the estuary. Members of all 3 boards agreed that further discussion and an expedient decision on land donation acquisition is needed. The joint meeting ended and the Martin County Board of County Commissioners meeting was officially called to order at 11:17 a.m. The meeting kicked off with a discussion of the 2018 legislative program, comprised of 5 key priorities. First up is the Indian River Lagoon South Restoration Project, part of the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan, also known as SERP. Next is the Herbert Hoover Dike Rehabilitation. The Martin County Board of County Commissioners is one of 16 members of the County Coalition for the Responsible Management of Lake Okeechobee. The #1 priority of the coalition is rehabilitation of the dike. Additionally, the 2018 legislative program focuses on the St. Lucie Inlet Management Plan, which requires certain volumes of sand to be placed on adjacent eroding beaches to mitigate impacts resulting from the existence of the inlet. As sand accumulates in the inlet, it fills the impoundment basin and, if not maintained in a timely manner, eventually begins to spill into the navigation channel, making the St. Lucie Inlet increasingly difficult to navigate. The 4th priority in our 2018 legislative program is coral reef monitoring. The coral reef disease outbreak has continued to spread since 2014 and has impacted over 18 species of stony coral, including primary reef builders and species that have been listed as threatened under the Endangered Species Act. A few especially susceptible species have effectively been eliminated from the known wild population. For example, over 95% of all known pillar coral colonies are infected or have already died. This brings us to the fifth and final priority, the US 27 Multimodal Corridor. In 2013, the Florida Department of Transportation conducted a planning and conceptual engineering, or PACE study, to investigate the feasibility of developing a multimodal corridor on US 27 from Miami north to the south end of Lake Okeechobee. The study evaluated widening US 27 and adding rail to the corridor to address Florida's growing transportation needs for freight and passenger movement. The board adopted the 2018 legislative program and directed the legislative coordinator to represent the county in opposition regarding Constitutional Amendment 95, which would have an adverse impact on home rule, and authorized the chairman to sign a letter to the governor and others regarding Martin County's support of the Everglades Agricultural Area's southern reservoir. Next on the agenda was a presentation by the representatives of the Agriculture and Natural Resources Advisory Committee. This committee is made up of local agricultural-related businesses and organizations. Stats on land use in Martin County are as follows: 48% agriculture, 25% conservation lands, 8% residential, 3% commercial industrial, and 16% other. Based on the most recent data, the economic impact on our local economy is great. Agriculture, natural resources, and food industries created 16,403 jobs and $1.26 billion in value-added impacts. Crop, livestock, forestry, and fisheries production created nearly 2,000 jobs and contributed over $340 million to the economy. And landscape horticulture services added $148 million in economic impact and over 2,000 jobs. This past year, the advisory committee focused on local food production and sustainability of agriculture and natural resources. 2016-17 activities included a food system feasibility study, development and implementation of outreach plans, input and participation in the Agritourism Conference, and support of and distribution of the Martin County Evaluation and Appraisal Report. Closing out the agenda, the board revised the rules of procedure to remove a paragraph that included text to address all comments to the board and not to individual commissioners, other speakers, or members of the public. For additional details about an agenda, or if you would like to watch the discussion for a specific item, you can go to the county's website, martin.fl.us, and click on MCTV. That's a wrap for this edition of the Commission Report. I'm Martha Ann Kness. Thanks for watching.